Hey, what's going on today, folks? How you all doing out there? Today, we are going to be building a DIY vertical garden planter out of all that wood right there. Why, you ask? Well, because I can. And because I need more space so I can grow me some more crops for next year. Yeah, see, I'm renting, so I can't just tear up the grass and lawn as I please, obviously, because landlord would get mad. So I have to resort to building garden beds and planters and all that cool stuff so I can be able to grow me some crops to feed my family, because we're tired of buying stuff from the store when all they do is just put chemicals and over process that stuff and all that crap. So we're growing our own stuff. We don't want to buy from the stores no more. Hey, real quick though, want to show you guys, if y'all remember last week's video where we had to break a broody hen. Look, there she is. How's it going, Susie? She ain't broody no more. She ain't broody no more. That's all it took, 4 days in the broody jail. She ain't broody no more. She's been outside, chilling, dust bathing, eating with the ladies. We also, no more bullying either. No more bullying. They're all getting along now. They're all friends again. Everybody knows their place. We're all getting along. So yeah, safe to say that broody jail works. So if you guys missed that video, go ahead, go back on my channel and go click this. It's literally the last video that we put before this one. Go ahead, watch that bad boy, and go learning a couple things about some chickens and broodiness. It was definitely a fun adventure, to say the least. But not broody no more. She's chilling. Everybody's getting along. But that's not the point of the video today. I just wanted to show you all that. I thought it's really cool, really awesome how everything turned out with the girls. But again, not the point of the video. Today we're making a vertical garden planter so we can have some more space to grow some new crops come springtime. So I've been seeing these a lot on YouTube. Hold on, let me put these. Them things is heavy. I've been seeing these a lot on YouTube and stuff lately, and I've been doing some research on them. And what I think is really, really cool about these DIY vertical garden planters is that they save space, they improve airflow, and they let you grow more food without expanding your footprint. Now that's pretty cool. Oh, and did you hear I mentioned it saves space? So if you live in an apartment, there's no excuse. Start building this today. Grow your own food, my friend. All right, we got all our wood here. That's all we're gonna be using today. Probably, I don't need all that 2x4s, but that's plenty of wood. We got two 4x4 posts. These are gonna be our vertical support post thingies. And then the 2x4s are gonna be for the shelves. Plywood is obviously gonna be the shelf itself. 2x4 supports for the shelf. And then obviously we got to cut down our 2x4s. But what I'm thinking is, like, picture it like that. Like, it's going to lean against the wall back there somewhere. That's where I get the most sun. So it's probably going to be back there against the wall. But essentially, it's going to be leaning like that, right? And then we'll take our 2x4s on the inside of each post, of course. And we'll have to level these out so they're flat. So we'll have to draw some lines and all that good stuff. But I think what I'll do is we'll do a little shelf at the bottom like that, right? And we'll go 2 feet up from that, another shelf, and then 2 feet up, top shelf right there. And the plan is I'm just going to take these 2x4s. So like it's leaning like that, right? These are going to be supports for the shelf. So we'll have to level those out like that. And I'm only going to go about a foot depth for the shelf. And I'm thinking I want to try and like offset them a little bit. So like bottom shelf sticks out, second shelf sticks out just a little bit, and then top shelf sticks out just a little bit more. My plan is to just grow like small herbs and spices and stuff like that for this vertical garden planter. I've been thinking I want to get into like making my own spices, my own seasonings. So I don't need a whole lot of space. General rule of thumb would be at least 1 foot to 2 feet of space between each shelf, and then a shelf depth of 1 foot would be your general rule of thumb, depending on what you're planting. If you're planting small herbs, you can go with 1 foot in between each shelf. If you're going to do something a little bit bigger, a little bit bushier, I would go with 2 feet. We're going to go with 2 feet because I don't know exactly what I'm going to be growing yet. So I just want to be better safe than sorry. So we'll have a shelf on the bottom, right? It's going to stick out a little bit. Then we're going to go up 2 feet, another shelf, and then another 2 feet, which will be the top, another shelf. And I want to try to offset them a little bit. So if something's a little bit bigger than something else, that will dictate which shelf it goes on. And then picture it like if they're like that, and then like you got another shelf coming out like this, there's that little offset. So like this right here will be all clear, right? So it'll have room to grow up if it needs to. Nothing special, nothing crazy. Remember, this ain't Pinterest over here, homie. We used what we got. I had a lot of spare wood laying around, haven't been using it. I'm like, I need some more space because all I got is a 3 foot by 1 foot garden bed. I can grow, right now I can only grow 3 crops at a time. And like I said, I want to maybe get into like making my own seasonings and stuff like that. You know, have a little bit of fun, go on an adventure, learn something new. So I want to grow herbs and spices to cook with, all that good stuff. So I figured a vertical garden planter would be perfect for that. Like I said, you don't need a lot of space. If you're in an apartment, you can build a little 2 foot, 4 foot garden planter like we're doing and have it just lean up on your balcony, and it doesn't take up any space on your balcony. Now you can grow your own food. So 4 foot shelf, we're gonna go 1 foot depth on the shelves, and we're gonna go 2 foot spacing in between each shelf. Very simple. I mean, it's not rocket science here. If you've never picked up a tool or anything like that, don't worry. I'm gonna show you everything you gotta do on how to build this. So, you know, we talked about the dimensions that we're going to be building this. And now it's time to start measuring, start cutting, start building. Let's do it. All right, like I said, we're going to go 4 feet high. So I measured out 4 feet with the tape measure. Draw me a line. I can't even see that line. I had to go get a new pencil because I couldn't. The other one didn't work. But anyways, we got to measure it out 4 feet. Draw our line right there at 4. Do it for the both of them. 4 feet again on the second post. Draw our line. Now we're going to get this cut. And then after that, we'll measure out our 2x4 for our shelving unit. And then we'll go ahead, measure out the plywood, get all that stuff cut up, get it slapped on. Right now, we need to cut these boards. Let's hope that this doesn't wake my son up. He's taking a nap right now. Wish me luck. All right, we got our 2 posts cut up, sized up, exactly where we want them. So now I guess I'm gonna take some 2x4s here. Got to get those measured out, sized up, cut up. I think before we do the plywood shelves, once we get these cut up, sized up, we're gonna attach them to the posts. And that way that'll give us a general idea of what it's gonna look like. And if everything looks good, we can go ahead and cut up the plywood, slap it on, bada bing, bada boom. I'm gonna be honest with you, I think we're gonna go 1.5 feet. We're gonna go 1.5 feet for our shelf. Okay. Looking at it right now, looks a little small for my liking when I picture what this thing is gonna look like. Right? So if we do 1.5 feet, that looks like it's definitely going to be a better size. So 18 inches, 1.5 feet, we're going to get that marked out. We're going to measure all these out real quick, and then we're going to get it cut up. Looks like he woke up. All right, well, I'm going to take care of him, and then we'll get back to building. Eventually. All right, so check it out. This should give you kind of the general idea of what we're going to look like, what we're talking about here, and what we're building today. Our vertical, standing up, garden planter. Now, this one's going to lean. You know, you can build ones that are straight up and down, shelf unit style, whatever. But ours is going to lean against the wall like this. Now, again, it's going to go over there when we're all said and done. But this gives you a general idea. We got our supports. This is going to be our shelf supports here. And remember, I was talking about the offset. So for each 2x4, we're going to go like 4 inches in. You see that right there? 4 inches on each one. Again, 4 inches, 2 feet up. And that's going to kind of offset it. You can see that there's going to be that little bit of space like that. So every 2x4 is going to be 4 inches drilled on to the sides here. And that's going to kind of offset it a little bit like that. That way, depending on what we grow, certain plants and herbs or whatever, they'll have a little bit more room if they need that room. to have that space, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully this gives you a general idea. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our 2x4s here, our shelf supports, and we're gonna get them attached to our vertical supports, and then we can finish building our shelves. All right, so check it out. Here's what we're looking like. Give me a side view. Vertical leaning against a wall like that. So if you're in an apartment, I mean, look, barely any space. Barely any space that takes up. Shelves, each shelf is gonna be offset like that. The only thing that I didn't think about for the top here is that my top shelves, I'm gonna have to cut right there because they're all the same length. You can't have the top the same length because then there's gonna be no offset there. So we're gonna cut. We measured our 4 inches. So like these, we did 4 inches hanging off the back here. So instead of this hanging off the back, we're gonna simply cut that. And then at the line here, it's gonna be flush with the back. So there'll be nothing sticking out the back on the top. And we'll still have our offset there for the top shelf. So we gotta go ahead, get these 2 boards cut up, and then we can finish building this bad boy. All right, so now this gives us a really good idea of what this thing is really gonna look like. And so as you can see, as I was saying about the top, remember, we had to measure 4 inches and cut it. So there's gonna be no overhang on the top, but we still got our offset. That way, if you have like a little bit bigger plants, they can kind of grow up here and still have room to grow and all that good stuff. So now all that's left to do is go get our plywood, measure that out. I'm gonna do 2 feet apart. We're gonna have a 2-foot width in between here. So these 2 shelves right here, 2 feet long by 1.5 inch width, and then here will be 2 feet long by, I think, so 2 feet wide by 1 foot 2 inches for the top shelf, and then 2 feet wide by 1.5 feet for the second and bottom shelf there. Boom! Check it out, there we are. Your very own vertical leaning garden planter. So you had no excuse come this spring. Get outside, build you one of these bad boys, even if you live in an apartment. Build you one of these bad boys, put it on your balcony, and you got a vertical garden planter. Remember how I was telling you, the offset. So you got a big old pot, maybe that's gonna be a little bit bigger. That can grow up and still have room because it's not being blocked by this shelf. Same thing here. A little bit bigger, it can still grow up. It still has room. If you have smaller plants, they can go on the inside there. You know, this is just to give you a general idea of what this could look like. So picture this, you live in an apartment, you live in a little house with a little yard, you ain't got a lot of space. Check it out. I could fit 2 of these big buckets on each. So 2, 4, 6. That's 6 different crops that you could be growing right on your balcony, right in your backyard. But there you go. And now you have an idea of what it looks like. You can fit a whole bunch of plants, especially if you're doing little tiny ones, herbs, spices, all that stuff. You can fit carrots. Carrots grow in the bucket. They don't even grow up. Carrots don't even grow up. You can fit a lot of carrots in one of these big buckets. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there you go. No more excuses. Get outside, get off the couch, build you one of these vertical DIY garden planters, and start growing your own food, man. We know what it's like out there. We know that these big corporations, all these stores, Walmart, Costco, we know what they're doing. Over-processed junk that's really not good for us. Get outside, start growing your own food. It's not that hard. This took us, what, 30 minutes maybe? An hour, if that, to build this bad boy? Not even, so pretty simple, not that hard. Go out, build you guys a DIY vertical garden planter. Start growing your own food, man. Trust me, you're not going to regret it. And you're going to find a nice sense of pride in growing your own food, knowing where it comes from, knowing what you put in it, and not somebody else. So get out there and start growing. That's what homesteading is all about. Not perfection, but solving problems with what you already have. So if you want to see more builds like this, more homestead adventures, we're on a complete adventure out here, my friends. We're just out here learning how to live off the land, help our family grow, and be better people. So if you found this helpful, or you want other DIY hacks, tips, tricks, all that stuff, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button and stick around, because out here, that's our mission. To give you the cold, hard truth about this lifestyle and how simple it really is. So thank you all for tuning into the channel, man. Thank you all for watching another video here on Mundo's Homestead Adventures. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.